today we are going to talk about Neuroelectrics. Of course, is my company. I'm the CEO and co-founder, but we think it's an amazing company because we are taking a different look at brain diseases. We think that we can change the way we really treat diseases by approaching a neurocircuit therapeutic therapy. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. So we are a late-stage clinical company. We're in a phase 3 registration study, but the beauty is that we've been selling our devices worldwide in 75 countries, and we have a manufacturing capacity in the research field, and we raised 20 million in our Series A. So let me drive you to what Neuroelectrics is trying to do. So you in the audience, 1 out of 5 people is going to develop a brain disorder, either Alzheimer's, depression, and I think that part of the problem why this conference is so great is because many patients don't have a solution in pharmacology, right? So we think we can bring a new approach by those patients that are not responding to meds. So what are we doing at the company? And part of the reason why they invite me here is to wear my cap, which I will do in a little bit. But I think that this is a snapshot of what we are trying to do at Neuroelectrics. So on one side, we will map your brain via EEG, MRI, other modalities, to then build a computational neuroscience model of your brain. We call that a neurotwin, a digital copy of your brain. So then we can design the best protocol for your brain, for your pathology, and then provide non-invasive brain stimulation at home. So as you can see, this is novel. I don't think there is any other neuromodulation modality that can do this at home non-invasively. And this is how it works. So let me wear my famous cap right now. So now that you're looking at me, this is, as you can see, this is wireless. I can move around, and it's plenty of electrodes. We have up to 32 electrodes, and any of the electrodes can monitor my brain activity, which will look like this. So this is a traditional EEG with dry electrodes, but what we are most excited about is that any of the electrodes that I'm wearing can inject electrical currents into the brain, non-invasively. So you have a platform that is capable of doing read and write non-invasively in a wearable wireless form. So what are we going to do with this nice cap? So I think it's treating disorders at the circuit level. So when you suffer from depression or from epilepsy, we believe at Neuroelectrics that is a circuit link approach. So maybe your depression has a mood disorder, or it has anhedonia, or different symptoms, and those symptoms are related to circuits in the brain. So with this technology, we can really stimulate circuits in the brain in ways that it wasn't possible before. Based on this device, we can monitor your brain activity at home and then build a neurotwin of the patient. So we collect your EEG in real time when you're at home. We upload it into our computational model, and we build what we call a physiological and electrophysiological model of your brain. So imagine like flight simulators for pilots. Before you go into a plane, the pilots do a simulation, right? Why can we not do that in the brain? Why do we need to prescribe you a drug or a device without trying to understand you're going to respond? So this is where I think AI and specifically computational neuroscience can change the way we deal with brain diseases. So this is the snapshot of the technology, but let's see the data. So we are committed to bring this nice cap into the clinical world, and our first indication is epilepsy. Why? Epilepsy is one of the most studied neurological diseases. We understand pretty much how it works. With EEG, we can identify seizures, and there are other sorts of neuromodulation like VNS or RNS that are really on the market. So what is the problem in epilepsy? The problem is that in the United States today, there are 3.4 million patients with epilepsy, and 340,000 are not responding to medication, and they have a focus. So it's pretty amazing if you think about it, that today in the United States, out of those 340,000 patients, only 3% are getting surgery, either a craniotomy or an implanted device. That means that today, 331,000 patients are having seizures without any control of meds. And let me remind you that you can die or choke yourself from a seizure. So we think this is a huge treatment gap. And we believe that with our approach, in this case, this is what we do in epilepsy. We ask the neurologist to tell us where the seizures are coming from. Remember, this is focal epilepsy, so they do an MRI and an EEG of the patient, and they depend in our software where the seizures are coming from. And blue is inhibition. So we inhibit the focus, and then we build a 3D model of the brain of the patient, whether it's with the MRI, and we calculate for each patient how many electrodes and how much current we need to inject to target that area. So fully personalized to the patient brain and to the patient pathology. And then, as you can see, our cap is customized only with the locations on the head that are linked to the protocol that we have designed. So this approach we did for an FDA pilot back in 2019 at Boston Children's, and we show how after 10 days of stimulation, 20 minutes every day, we could reduce seizures. And let me show the data. So 20 minutes, 10 days, we were at the clinical neurophysiology cover with a paper, and these are the results. So we got 44% seizure median reduction with 10 days of stimulation over an 8-week follow-up period. It's pretty remarkable if you think that these patients' alternative is surgery and they are not controlled with meds. So what are we doing with this data? We inferred that into a pivotal registration study. So today, we are in a phase 3 registration study in more than 40 sites, 150 patients, last patient in September or December this year. So we are very excited. We are at the doorsteps of ending our pivotal trial. And these are the US sites. You may recognize close to our doors we have CHOC, but we have a number of US sites, but also European sites. And I have to say that I've been a little bit disappointed by the slow recruitment pace in the US, and that's why I opened Europe, where it's going much faster. And I think part of the incentives to go into surgery have made it more slow in the US. But we are very committed to finalize this study to have FDA approval in September 26, and launch this new product into the market. This is the first time a transcranial current stimulation company goes through the FDA in an indication like epilepsy, so we are very excited. And we have been analyzing the pricing. We think this is a phenomenal business, $25K for treatment and 340,000 patients in target, so a potential peak revenue of $2.6 billion. So phenomenal business. And because I have 1 minute, I have to tell you that we will not stop in epilepsy. We also did an IDE pilot study in depression with the FDA, where we showed that after 1 month of stimulation at home, every day, 30 minutes, we really reduce the MADRS and improve the score of MADRS patients by almost 73%. So amazing, beautiful data in depression that now we want to push into a pivotal phase as in epilepsy. And for that, we are raising $40 million. That will take us through both MDD readout of the phase 3, as well as approval in epilepsy. So I think that we are bringing this non-invasive technology to the clinical path. And I couldn't do this without my amazing team. Some of them are here, Anna and Kim. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things of an entrepreneur, is to be able to bring a completely new technology into the world. And we are very excited because we are very close to commercialization. So if you're a strategic or an investor interested in mental health and epilepsy, come and join us, because I tell you, we are going to be in the clinic very, very soon. Thank you.